I have been married for 40 years, and I said that for you to remain married, you must be stupid for this duration.
Okay.
Logical people, intelligent people don't remain married for long. Bill Gates, Wole Soyinka, a host of them. Because you will reach a stage in life, your wife will annoy you. She will misbehave. She will do something wrong. She will start crying. You will need to apologize to her for crying for doing something wrong. And if you are logical, you won't do that.
Good to see you.
I have been married for 40 years, and I said...
All right, he said a lot. I want you to pay attention. I'm going to play it again, okay? Because this actually came at the right timing. Let's listen to it again.
That for you to remain married, you must be stupid.
Hey.
For this duration.
Jesus.
Okay. Logical people, intelligent people don't remain married for long. Bill Gates, Wole Soyinka, a host of them. Because you will reach a stage in life, your wife will annoy you. She will misbehave. She will do something wrong. She will start crying. You will need to apologize to her for crying for doing something wrong. And if you are logical, you won't do that.
All right, so I know what he's trying to say. As a matter of fact, Dr. Charles Akpoki is one of my favorites. YouTube, it's one of my favorite YouTubers on YouTube, you know, content creators on YouTube. I know what he's trying to say, but there's danger in what he's saying. And I think we should spell that out. Okay. I think I need to spell that. There's a lot of danger in what he's trying to say. And I need to make sure that, you know, one of our problems when it comes to understanding relationships, modern day relationships, modern marriages, is actually English language. English language, comprehension, sentence structures. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm just telling you what I've noticed across the board, you know, and it could be as simple. Let me even tell you that I'm also guilty. I might say one thing in one way, and you might take one sentence and you run with it, and you go and apply it in your relationship, and it will work against you, right? What did he say? He said, let me get this right. First of all, he said he's been married for 40 years. That does carry some merit, okay? But not for everybody that's been married for 40 years. Remember, there's nuances to a lot of this conversation, and there's a lot going on here that I want you to pay attention to. It's not just that he said the right thing or the wrong thing. That's why I want to remove your focus away from what is right and what is wrong. I just want to pay attention to understanding. Let's understand what we're dealing with here, particularly the nuances, it's a spectrum of understanding here. And then you come up with what works for you based on the new understanding you've gained. It doesn't mean there's no manual. Remember, I'm not telling you that there's no manual. I'm telling you that when most people say there's no manual, they're usually just lazy. They're not doing any thinking. And please don't do that, okay? He said he's been married for 40 years. That does carry some merit. So he's trying to say something that we have to pay attention to beyond just the words. He said, for you to remain married, you must be stupid. Okay, for you to remain married, you must be stupid. I saw a young man on TikTok actually repeated that same talking point. The way he said it is that you have to be a simp to be a good husband, and you have to be a pick-me to be a good wife. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, now again, I understand what he's trying to say. He's actually trying to make a good point, right? So it's not that he's like outrightly wrong. That's not the point of this, right? The point is that it is dangerous. Somebody's going to take that and run with it and say, uh-oh, I'm scared. That's why I never want to be a wife, because they say you have to be a pick-me. Or a guy will say, a simp, okay. No. I don't want to be a simp, right? Why? Because there's a limited, that those sentences, the way he said it, that you have to be a fool, you have to be stupid, you cannot be intelligent, you cannot be logical. Those sentences are short-sighted by the very way that they are structured, because if you're not a logical person, if you cannot rationalize the reason why you're using a strategy in your relationship, using a relational strategy within if you cannot rationalize it, how long do you think that's going to last before you start to resent the other partner? Starting with yourself, you resent yourself. How long do you think that's going to last? It's not going to last. It's not sustainable, because eventually no one wants to feel like they're in an unfair situation, right? So, but yes, sometimes you have to rise above the short-term situation, right? That doesn't equal to you're not logical. As a matter of fact, you're being most logical because you're factoring the fact that some things you can't see yet. You just have to move in closer to see it. Just like you're driving to California, sometimes if you have a straight line road, if that was possible, that goes all the way from New York to California, I don't know, maybe 3,000 miles to 5,000 miles or something, right? There's only so much you can see in front of you. As you move closer, more is revealed, right? So you have to make certain decisions based off of the fact that most of the things you're looking at any point in time, you're short-sighted. You can't see all the way through. So you have to apply wisdom. That is not stupidity. That's actually logic. But it's just logic that's understanding that there are other variables involved in the situation. So you don't want to be hasty in your conclusions. Not being hasty in your conclusions does not mean you're stupid. It actually means you're a wise person. It actually means you're most logical than other people that say, oh, let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's just call a spade a spade. It actually means you're wiser than them. Okay, so that's Baba. If you listen to Baba long enough, he will eventually get to this point. I trust him on that. But I know somebody's going to run with this, okay, and think it means you have to be a fool to be in a long-term relationship. Actually, is contrary to the actual reality. You have to be one of the wisest human being in this world. It's not about what we say. Some of us can speak English, and we're terrible with these things in practice. It's about what you actually end up practicing in real life. But it's not sustainable to think all you have to be is be a fool, a simp, or a pick-me. It's not sustainable. Most of us human beings were not attracted to fools, not in the short term, not in the long term. We can tell that you are trying to appease us. We can tell that you're basically that you're patronizing us. We can tell. And it's not real, and eventually it's not sustainable. Okay, so the biggest variable in what we are saying is emotions. Master emotions, emotional intelligence. It starts with understanding your own emotions. Learn how you operate from an emotional standpoint. Stop calling yourself this macho logical person. You're not. You're an emotional being, and yes, you can be logical as long as you factor in the fact that you're an emotional person as the biggest variable of it all. It doesn't mean you move from a place of emotions. It means you acknowledge that there are emotions at play so that you don't move from a place of emotions. So that statement is short-sighted all in itself. You have to listen to the full podcast to understand where it's coming from. And please don't go into relation being a fool. It will backfire badly. Don't go and pick up somebody who is quote unquote a pick me somewhere and you think they're going to be feminine forever. It will backfire badly. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Somebody said most successful men are married. It's very hard to get into certain spaces as a man without the stability of marriage. Somebody said there is some truth to this. Y'all can say what y'all want. Because again, there are nuances to what he's trying to say. And I trust this Baba that he's probably going to get there beyond a 1 minute or one minute clip. Do me a favor. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let me know what your thoughts are about that. And let's get on to some other trendy stories. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, Man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife, Lola, and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.